My name is Gemma. I live with paranoid schizophrenia. That doesn't mean I'm dangerous. It doesn't mean I'm broken. It means I experience the world differently, and I'm surviving something complex. In the reflection of the high-rise office window, I looked the part. Capable, vibrant, adjusting the silver buckle on the belt of my fuchsia jumpsuit. That was the outside Gemma. The inside Gemma was currently trying to turn down the volume on a commentary track no one else could hear. It was a bad brain day. The stress of the quarterly review had triggered the static, my name for the auditory hallucinations that come with my diagnosis. Today, the static was a low, murmured conspiracy. 3 indistinct voices insisting that the presentation I held was riddled with errors designed to get me fired, and that the receptionist was monitoring my breathing patterns. You're crazy. You're embarrassing. Isn't it all just in your head? Ground yourself, Gemma, I thought. I pressed my heels firmly into the carpet, feeling the solid concrete beneath the fibers. Facts, not fears. Here is the reality. Hallucinations and paranoia are symptoms, not imagination. I don't choose them, I manage them. I took my medication, an antipsychotic that helps keep the static at a manageable hum, with a sip of water. I hated taking it at work, always paranoid someone would see the bottle, but the timing was unavoidable. The meeting went well. I was sharp, articulate, and commanded the room. When I am in the zone, focusing on concrete numbers and strategy, the paranoia often recedes. Many of us work, study, and live full lives. Normal isn't one thing. My life is still mine. It was afterward, in the break room, that the facade cracked. Marcus, a junior executive with more ambition than tact, leaned against the counter. "Saw you popping pills before the meeting, Gem," Marcus said, slick with feigned concern. "Everything okay? You seemed a little intense in there." "I know the rumors. People talk about why you took that month off last year. If the pressure is getting to you, if you're having one of your episodes, maybe you shouldn't be leading the Alpha Project. It's a liability. You'll never live a normal life. You're broken." The static spiked. "He knows. He saw the label. He's going to tell everyone you're unstable." The urge to run, to hide in the bathroom stall, was immense. "No," I thought fiercely. "That is his ignorance talking, not my reality. Calling me crazy doesn't erase the reality of schizophrenia. I'm not broken. I'm surviving something complex." I visualized the static as background noise in a busy cafe, annoying, but ignorable. I turned to face Marcus. I channeled the exact posture I wore in my portrait, hands on hips, chin up. "Marcus," I said, my voice low and steely, "let be very clear. My health is none of your business. How I manage it is none of your business. What is your business is the fact that my team just delivered a 20% growth projection. And I led that presentation without a single error. I just meant, you meant to undermine me using dated, ignorant stereotypes because you want my job." I cut him off. I challenged the stereotype directly. "It's lazy, Marcus. If you have a problem with my performance, bring data to the table. If you want to gossip about my medical history, save it for somewhere else." I stood firmly in my own reality and demanded he meet me there. But the cruelty didn't only live in offices. It lived in living rooms. It lived in well-meaning concern that cuts deeper than people realize. Later that week, visiting my parents, the static grew loud again. My mother looked at me with pity and a hint of fear when I laughed a little too loudly at a joke. "Are you sure you took your meds, darling?" she asked, eyes darting toward my nieces and nephews playing nearby. "You seem a little over the top. We don't want to upset them." And then came the questions that hurt the most, whispered over coffee. Do the voices tell you to hurt people? Don't people with schizophrenia have multiple personalities? The implication hung in the air. I was a risk. I had to take a breath and remind myself of the facts I wished they knew. Schizophrenia isn't split personality. That's a different condition. My diagnosis involves altered reality, not multiple selves. Most people with schizophrenia are not violent. Fear comes from stigma, not fact. Danger isn't my identity. Mom, Dad, I said, trying to keep my voice even. I understand you're worried. But my diagnosis does mean I'm unstable or dangerous. I manage it with medication and therapy. I'm capable and loved. Your fear doesn't change that. I set boundaries. I asked for respectful language. Because I am not a schizophrenic. I am a person living with schizophrenia. Driving home that night, I looked at myself in the rearview mirror. The fuchsia jumpsuit was crinkled, and I was tired. The static was still there, but quieter now. I practice self-compassion. I remind myself I'm not broken. I'm not hopeless. Hope is part of my survival. People will continue to say things like, "You're crazy," or "You're scary." They will ask if I am imagining things. But I know my rights. Stigma doesn't erase my dignity. I'm not dangerous. I'm not hopeless. I'm living with schizophrenia, and that takes strength. So next time you think about saying crazy or asking if I'm violent, remember, those are myths. You don't owe anyone an apology for living with schizophrenia. Your courage matters, even if others don't see it. I am Gemma. This is my story. And it's time we unmask mental health.